are going to be going through some movements, some poses, and some stretching. So like I mentioned, if you have an exercise mat or whatever, please have it nearby or use it because we are going to be on the floor quite a bit. And a yoga block, pillow, rolled up towel, or a blanket, rolled up small blanket. Okay, so we're going to get started actually on the mat. And this is a position we call child's pose. I've taken a couple of Talia's and Paige's classes, so I understand that some of this may be familiar to you. So we're going to go ahead and separate our knees about the width of the mat. And we're going to walk our hands forward as far as you can. And if you can, sit back on your heels. Now, if you can't completely sit back on your heels, feel free to go as far as you can without any pain on your knees. And if you need a yoga block or a pillow for your head, that would be the best place to put this right now. Because you want to rest your forehead on the floor or on that pillow, yoga block, or whatever item you have. Okay? So we're going to walk our hands forward a little bit. Not so far forward that it's straining your shoulders, but just so that you can rest your elbows on the floor, but still feel a stretch in your back. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in through your nose. I like breathing in through your nose because your nose is actually very good for filtering pollutants and all that. So breathe in through your nose. Take a nice breath out through your mouth. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And maybe you're able to melt down a little bit your hips down to your heels and breathe out. And as we're going through this practice, as I'm leading you through this, I want to invite you to try to make your breath as even as possible. So if you take about 3 or 4 seconds to breathe in, try to take the same amount of time to breathe out. Good. Okay, now we're going to come up onto all fours and walk your hands towards your body just a little bit. So they're not quite underneath your shoulders, and bring your knees a little bit closer together so they're about hip width apart. And just feel free to move through and just circle your body around. Whatever feels good, you're just kind of getting your shoulders and your hips warmed up. And try to go the other way this time. If you were going in one direction for a couple circles, let's go the other direction. Just relaxing. Don't forget your breath. Nice. Okay. And then we'll come back onto all fours. So now you want to try to get those hands right underneath those shoulders. Hips, your knees are hip width apart. And we're going to just do a couple cat cows. So we're going to move through that by first taking an inhale in. And as you exhale, I want you to roll your back up and your shoulders come down to the floor. The crown of your head goes down to the floor. Relax the tops of your feet into the floor. And then as you breathe in, just slowly roll your belly down. Look in front of you. So not up in the ceiling, just the wall in front of you. And then exhale, let's roll into that cat position. Arch your back up. Draw that belly button into your spine. Inhale, you're going to go back into that cow. So arch your back down. One more time, we're going to exhale into a cat position. Arch your back up, shoulders draw down, and your crown of your head down to the floor. Then you're going to roll your belly down for an inhale into that cow. Very nice. Okay, let's come into neutral position. So now you know the cat and cow. Now your spine is going to be in neutral position, drawing that belly button in. We're going to take that left leg back. Just going to step that left foot back, and then just curl your toes under. So now you're just you're stretching out your toes, feet. Feel free to roll your feet around in your body. Good. Okay, let's put that left knee back and let's switch. Take that right leg back and just stay there. I'm just going to turn around so you can see. So right foot steps back. Shifting your way back and forth, getting a nice stretch in your calf. Keeping your hips as parallel to the ground as you can. Good. Let's bring that right knee back And let's go back to that left leg. So we're gonna lift your left leg back a little bit farther. Feel free to curl your right toes under or flatten it so the tops of your feet are down to the floor. You're just gonna lift that left knee up a little bit. And then as you get comfortable with that, without shifting your hips side to side, I want you to lift that left leg back at your height. So it doesn't have to be hip height. If it's a little bit lower, that's okay. And as you get comfortable with that position, right knee down, your nice weight distribution on both hands, you're gonna lift that right hand up by your head. And you can have that elbow slightly bent. It doesn't need to be right by your ear. And just pretend like you're shaking somebody's hand in front of you. And just draw your bicep towards the front, hug that tricep into your body. And you don't want to collapse into that shoulder, so nice strong shoulder right into that shoulder socket. Good. Now put that hand and knee down, and then you're going to make sure that left knee is right under your left hip and lift that right leg up behind you. Stay where you are. And you want to flex that right foot. Again, both hands right underneath your shoulders. And as you get comfortable with that right leg up, I want you to lift that left arm up by your head. Pretend like you're shaking somebody's hand here. Again, you're drawing that right bicep towards the front. Drawing that bicep to the front, tricep hugging into your body. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, put your hand and knee down. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to stay in that tabletop position. Remember, your knees are going to be hip width apart. And we're going to do a couple fire hydrants here. So what that is you're going to leave your left knee on the floor, hands on the floor. You're going to lift that right leg up a little bit, just the knee. And with your leg bent, I want you to just bring it up to the side. So now you're working your glutes here a little bit. We're going to do that a couple more times. So lift and lower, lift it up and lower and put it all the way down. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So now you're going to put that right knee down right underneath your hip, hands right on the floor, and you're going to lift that left knee up with your knee bent, your left leg bent. I want you to lift that left leg up and bring it down. We call this fire hydrant. Go ahead and lift that knee up using the strength of your glutes and some of your obliques, and lower and lift and lower. Okay, put that knee back down, and just for a brief moment, we're going to stretch on our back. So sit back into that child's pose, open up those knees, let the big toes touch in the middle, walk your fingertips forward, rest your forehead on the floor. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and as you breathe it out, I want you to come back onto all fours again. And we're going to go ahead and switch our position and go onto our back for some glute bridges. And we're going to activate your core a little bit more here. So, I'm sure you're familiar with this. You're going to have your knees bent, your heels right underneath your knees. You can almost, or you should, try to touch your heels with your fingertips. That's how close your heels should be to your body. So planting your hands on either side of your body, I want you to lift your hips up. So we're going to take about 3 seconds to lift, hold it for 2, and bring it down for 3. Okay, ready? So let's lift. 1, 2, 3. Let's hold it for a couple seconds here, and then lower down. 1, 2, 3. 4 more times, just like that. Let's lift. 1, 2, 3. Hold it for 2, 1. Lower it for 1, 2, 3. And 3 more times. Lift it up for 3, 2, 1. Hold it. And lower. 3, 2, 1. 2 more. Lift it up. 3, 2, 1. Hold it. Push those heels down. And lower. 3, 2, 1. Let's get one more in. Let's lift. 3, 2, 1. Hold it. This is really great for strengthening your lower back. And lower. 3, 2, 1. Nice. And now I want you to really focus on pushing that lower back into the ground. So we're activating our core again. Push the navel into the spine, lower back touching the floor. I want you to either lift your legs here to the ceiling, or if that's not comfortable, you can bend those knees. Okay, so we're gonna lift our shoulder blades off the ground. And we're gonna pretend that we have a tennis ball that we're hugging between our chin and our chest. Our arms are gonna be out here straight, and we're gonna pump our arms. So this is Pilates 100. This is really gonna activate your core and warm up your shoulders. Feel free if anytime, if it's too much for you, go ahead and hug your knees in to take a little break. We're gonna go about 100 pumps of your hands. So we're gonna breathe in for 5 pumps of your hand, breathe out with 5 pumps of your hand. Are we ready? Let's give it a try. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're gonna breathe it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. Feel free to bend those knees if you need to. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. Lower back down to the ground. Breathe it out. We're almost there. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Looking good. Breathe it in. Don't forget to smile. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. We only got a couple more here. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. And slowly lower your head down, shoulders down, hug those knees in, grab your shins with your hands. And if you want to, you can rock your legs side to side and a nice massage in your back. Not to worry, we're going to get into a standing position here. So we're either going to push yourself up with your hands, or if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, rock and roll yourself up into a seated position. And we're going to go ahead and stand it up. Slowly and carefully. Good. Okay, so a couple sun salutations here to really warm up our body and get some movement. We're going to stand at the top of your mat. On the standing position, I want you to focus on the mounds of your big toe. So the bottom of your big toe, bottom of your little toe, and your heel. You should try to feel an even weight distribution on your feet. I like my feet about, my legs and my feet hip width apart. It's actually better for your lower back as well. But if you want, big toes can touch in the middle and a slight separation onto your heel. Okay, so I'm going to do separate hip width apart and shift your weight back and forth. Good. Now feel where your weight is evenly distributed. And I want you to bring that tailbone, push it down to the ground. So the back here. You're going to push your hips forward. We're going to bring that belly button gently into our spine so you really tighten up your core. This is your good standing position. We're going to just shrug our shoulders up so we know where it shouldn't be. Roll it all the way back and down and keep it there. Okay, so we're going to lift our toes up just to activate the arches of our feet and lower it down. Good. Lift those toes up one more time. Lower it down. And this time we're going to lift the right heel up, bend that right knee. Just kind of warming up your feet a little bit more. Lift the left heel up. One more time on each side. Lift that right heel up. You can circle it around if you want. Good. And then lift the left heel up. Circle it around if you want. Just kind of where it feels good. Good. Okay, here's where we're going to do a couple of half sun salutations. We're not going to actually go down to the floor yet, but we're going to breathe it in. In that standing position, I want you to breathe it in and bring your arms up to the sky. And let's put our hands together as we breathe out to your chest level here in that prayer position. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and reach your hands up to the sky again. And as you breathe out, I want you to bend your knees slightly and fold forward. So go ahead and let the crown of your head down to the floor. Relax your back. If you can't touch the floor, it's okay. You can put your hands on your shins. Try not to push on your knees. You can put your hands on your thighs if you need to, but try to relax that back down. Good. On your next inhale, I want you to put your hands on your shin or your thigh, but then this time I want you to straighten those legs out. So not a full extension of your knees. You don't want to hyperextend, but just to a little bit more extension that there's no bend in that knee, and then straighten your back. The crown of your head to the imaginary wall in front of you if there's no wall. And then I want you to come back and exhale, fold it forward again. And then with a nice strong back, you can put your hands on your hips and slowly come up. And we're not doing a roll up one vertebrae at a time. We're trying to keep our back straight and come up into a standing position. So remember that standing position, you want that nice, strong, active core. Suck that belly in. You're going to breathe it in. Bring those arms back up to the sky. This time we're going to breathe it out as we fold forward. Okay, wherever your hands may land, that's great. And then as you inhale, put your hands on your shin or above your knees, on your thighs. Straighten your legs, straighten your spine. Breathe it out. Let's fold it forward again. And as we breathe it in, we're going to come back into standing nice and slow. Woo! Okay, breathe it out. This time we are going to go down to the floor. So I want you to breathe it out, fold it forward. Breathe it into that half lift, hands on your shin or thigh, straighten your legs, straighten your spine. And as you breathe out, I want you to bend your knees as generously as you want or need to. Put your hands flat on the floor, right underneath your shoulders. Gently step your feet back into a plank position or a pillar bridge. We're not going to stay here very long, so I want you to put your knees down. So you're almost in it's a kneeling plank position. So you're not here in tabletop, but our body is nice and straight. So we're going to try to lower down all the way down to the ground. Okay, so slowly come down. Try to hug those elbows into your body. And relax your feet down. So the tops of your feet down to the ground, your legs can be together. And we're going to do a couple cobras here, or half cobras. So you're going to keep your hands by your chest. Keeping the hands on the floor, I want you to lift your chest up gently with your head and your neck, of course. And then slowly come back down. We're going to do that with an inhale again. So inhale, let's lift up into a baby cobra. Keep your elbows bent. And exhale, bring your forehead back down to the ground. Wonderful. Okay, and the next one, we want to try to come up a little bit higher. So we're going to inhale, lift your chest a little bit more. Maybe the top of your torso comes off the floor. And slowly exhale, come back down to the floor. Now you can stay in that, you can try that cobra again, or if you'd like to come with me into an upward dog, you're going to come up as high as you can. Straighten your arms if you can. And then if you want to, you can lift the rest of your body off the floor. So now you're just the tops of your feet and your hands on the floor. But if you want to stay in that cobra, perfectly fine. And then slowly lower back down. Wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to go into a downward dog. So let's tuck our knees in, tuck our toes in. We're going to lift those knees up. So when you're starting from tabletop, you tuck your toes underneath. We're going to lift those knees up a little bit. Get that core nice and active, and then slowly lift your hips up until you're in an inverted V position. If you need to, you can walk your feet forward just a little bit to adjust. So the goal here is not really to touch your heels to the ground. Not too many people can do that. So I want you to really focus on keeping your back straight by pushing your hips up. Bend those knees a little bit more if you need to. Relax that head between your arms. And I want you to really relax your head. So just shake your head no. Shake your head yes, just so you feel nice and relaxed here. And then if you want to, if it's something that's comfortable for you, go ahead and pedal your right and left heel up and down. Walking your dog. Very good. Okay, a little bit of movement here. So we're going to go ahead and plant. Keep those heels nice and still. You don't have to plant it down. But from a downward dog position, we're going to step our left foot forward on the outside of our right hand. So just shift your hips forward and step that left foot on the outside of your left hand. And just kind of lift your torso up a little bit. Good. We're not going to stay there. We're going to step our left foot back again. Go back into that downward dog. So bring those hips again up. And then this time we're going to step our right foot forward. So step it forward on the outside of our right hand. Hold it there for a second. Keep your torso up, not all the way up. Step that right foot back, and then lift those hips into downward dog. Now, if this is too much for you, go ahead and go into child's pose if you need to rest. We're going to step our left foot forward again on the outside of our left hand. Hold it there for a second. Step that left foot back. Lift your hips into downward dog. Bend those knees if you need to. And then you're going to shift your weight forward and then step your right foot forward on the outside of your right hand. Good. Step that right foot back. Lift those hips back up into that downward dog. Good. And then slowly bring your knees down to the ground, back into that tabletop position. Okay, a little bit of a challenge here, but I think you can do it if you want to try. We're going to try a side plank. So, you've probably tried this before. We're going to shift our weight into our right hand, right knee. And then just kind of shift, so turn that right leg behind you. So now your right foot's behind you, your right knee is in line with your right wrist, and then the top leg, which is your left leg, just extend it out straight. So everything should be like in a straight line. And if it's within your practice to lift that left hand, the top hand up, go ahead and do that. Your goal here is to keep your hips, your body nice and tall. Now, if you want to try a little bit more from here, go ahead and take that right foot, extend it, or right leg, extend it out. And if you cannot stack your legs, take that left foot forward. This is another modified version. Good. 3. We're just going to hold it for another 2 seconds here. And 1. Put that left hand down on the floor. Let's shift our weight back into a tabletop position. Now I'm just going to turn around so you can see the other direction. Good. So now we're going to go to the left side. Keeping your left hand on the floor, in line with your left knee, we're just going to turn our body, left foot behind us, and our right leg is going to be straight out. Take that right hand up. Another modified version of this is if you want to lift that right leg up off the floor, just kind of bouncing on that left hand, left knee. Or if you want to take it another level, extend that left leg out. And you can stack those legs, stack those hips, stack the shoulders. We're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and put that right hand down. Let's shift our weight back into a tabletop. Ooh, I bet you did great. Okay, we're going to get into some stretches here, so no worries, but we're going to do one more sun salutation. So I want you to take your right leg back, take your left leg back, lift those hips back into that downward dog for a second. I want you to take a nice deep breath. Inhale, stretch your chest back to your knees. On the exhale, I want you to bend those knees and then step or lightly jump your feet forward. So I'm going to step forward to meet my hands. We're going to take an inhale into a half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, we're going to stand up all the way into that nice, tall, standing mountain pose. Reach your hands up to the sky. Exhale, we're going to fold it forward. Bend forward all the way. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale, put your hands on the floor, bend your knees. Step or lightly jump your feet back. Lift your hips into that downward dog for another couple seconds. Take a nice deep breath in. Take an open mouth exhale out. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your next exhale, I want you to put your knees down and then extend your legs out. And we're going to go ahead and lie on our stomach and our chest. Woo! So we're going to get some stretches in here. So I want you to turn this way. Lift your chest up. Make your hands into a number 11, or your arms are number 11 in front of you. You're just lifting, gently lifting your chest up, shoulders up. Make sure to bring those shoulders off your ears. Tops of your feet relaxing onto the floor. Nice job. Okay, let's go ahead and relax our head down to the floor. You're going to extend the right arm out, shoulder level. And then the left hand's going to stay on the floor by your chest. And I want you to use that left hand to twist your body over to the right. So towards your extended arm. And if it feels comfortable, you can take that left leg, which is on top, and just kind of let it fall behind you. Relax the side of your head down. Nice stretch for your chest and your shoulders. You really need this after sitting a lot. Come back to the middle. Let's extend the left arm out to the floor, shoulder level. Take that right hand right by your chest. Relax your head down on the floor and just twist yourself over to the left. Like on the other side, you can take that top leg, which is now your right, and just let it fall behind you. So opening up your hips a little bit here. Good. And let's come back to the middle. And we get to go onto our back this time for some more stretches. So roll onto your back and hug those knees in. Just take your hands, grab your shins, hug it in as much as you can. So really drawing your knees into your armpits. And rock your legs, rock your body side to side if you want. Good. Okay, you're going to take that left foot, you're going to put it down onto the floor so the knee's bent. Take that right leg, extend it up to the ceiling. Grab behind your calf or your thigh. Again, never behind the knee. So grab behind the calf, pull it in. Feel free to flex your foot to get a little bit more stretch in that calf. And then point it out to get a stretch in your shin. Okay, now circle that foot around. Now you should get a nice big circle with your foot, one direction. Circle it the other way. And then you're going to rebend that right leg. Now this time, the left leg, which was bent, you're going to extend it out to the floor. Take your left hand and just push that left hip down so you really have your hips squared down to the floor. You're going to take that right leg, which is bent, and draw it across your body for a lying down twist. Take your left hand on the outside of that knee, the one that's across, and just bring it across. Right arm is going to extend out to the floor. Feel free to look to your right hand. Nice job. And then slowly come back to the middle. Hug both knees in before we switch. Now go ahead and take that right foot down. Keep that right knee bent. Extend your left leg out to the ceiling. Grab behind your calf or your thigh. Pull it in. Flex your foot if you want to. And then point it to get a stretch in your shin, the front of your calf. Circle that foot around one direction. Circle it the other way. And rebend that left knee. Now this time you're going to extend the right leg out to the floor. Take your right hand on your right hip just to push it down. And let's draw that left knee across, guiding it with your right hand on the outside of your knee. And then take that left arm out to the side, about shoulder level. And then if you want to stretch out your neck, go ahead and look at your left hand. Love these stretches. And then slowly come back. That really should get your glutes a little bit. Hug both knees in again. And we are going to sit up. So like we did earlier, let's go ahead and see if you could rock and roll yourself up into a sitting position. And we're going to stretch out our inner thighs a little bit. So you're going to bring your feet together. Your knees are bent. Now, you can bring those feet out a little bit more, or you can bring it in a little bit closer to your body, whichever feels better for you. And we're just going to fold it forward. So just draw that forehead down to the floor. And you don't need to touch your forehead or your nose to your feet. Not what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to stretch out our back and get a little stretch on your inner thighs. Now, if you feel like you can do this, go ahead and put your elbows on your knees, on the inside of your knees, and push gently down. Only gently. Good. Slowly sit it up. And we're going to take our hands on the outside of our knees and close our knees like they're books. And let's just cross our legs as comfortably as you want. And we'll take a couple deep breaths here. So put your right hand on your belly, right underneath your navel, left hand on your chest. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Fill your belly first, then your ribs, and then your chest. And then exhale from your chest, ribs, and belly. One more time. Breathe it in from your belly, ribs, chest. Exhale from your chest, ribs, and belly. And go ahead and relax your hands down. And I want to thank you for joining. Part of the challenge is just being here. So, namaste, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.